Good morning, beautiful people. I'm a little rough this morning. I woke up to a message. Uh, somebody sent me a video of a doctor explaining why it's important for everybody to wear a mask and sort of dispelling the analogies that people are using on the internet as to why it's not important to wear a mask, and he's explaining why it is important. And I don't know, for me, it's just so much bigger than a mask. It's just so much bigger than a face covering. It's what world do I want to live in, and what world I don't want to live in. Because at this point, it's not about what world I do want to live in, because I can't make that happen. It's about trying to find a world I can settle with and I can deal with, because I have no control over it, obviously, because every direction I turn, I'm told what I can and can't do. So this idea of freedom is getting thinner and thinner. Okay, but now it's a matter of just trying, not trying to create the world I want to live in, but trying to prevent a world I don't want to live in from happening. And this mask thing is just a good example of that. Like, I don't want to live in a world where I walk around thinking everybody is a disease or a germ or dangerous or deadly or disgusting. I don't want to live in that world. I don't want to live in the world where we walk around thinking we're all diseased. Human contact is important. Smiles are important. How we treat each other and how we interact with each other is important. Not only on a personal and psychological level, but on a scientific level. It's important that we come in contact with each other, that we shake hands, that we hug, that we kiss, that we breathe on each other. Like, I know that sounds stupid, but this is important. I mean, evolution's important. Building up our immune systems is important. I mean, if a child is born, and let's just say you decide for the child's safety that you're going to carry it to protect it, right? You're going to protect this child. So from birth, you decide you're going to carry it everywhere. Well, 18 years later, you've been carrying this child. You've been carrying it because you want to protect it from the elements, okay? So you've been carrying this child every day, all day, and now this child's 18 years old. It's time for the child to move on and move out of your house. Child can't even walk, much less take care of itself, because you've been carrying it, because the child never learned to walk. Okay, so I'm not interested in the evolutionary process of deliberately and purposely weakening our immune systems. I think that's ignorant. So I don't want to live in a world where we walk around pretending like everybody's a germ by wearing masks and gloves and not contacting each other and social distancing, and weakening our immune systems to the degree of when the common cold does get into your... Sorry about that, my video froze, computer froze or something. But is that it? I mean, we're just going to weaken our immune systems down to the point where any and everything is just going to be catastrophic failure for the human body? I mean, what happens when you weaken your immune system and you catch an infection? I have a friend, big, strong dude, strongest dude I've probably ever met. He got an infection one time after he got a tattoo, and he almost lost his arm to MRSA. He almost lost his arm to MRSA, and he was a young guy at the time. He was in his 20s. He almost lost his arm to MRSA because of infection. Had he not have been as big and strong and had a tough immune system, he would have lost his arm. Or if he hadn't gone to the hospital when he did, he'd have lost his arm. So I don't want to live in a world where our immune systems are so weak that the common cold's going to kill us. I don't want the common cold to be deadly. And that's what's going on right now. This coronavirus, we're convinced that with it, and again, this illness, this disease, this virus is somewhere in relation to the flu. people keep saying it's impossible to compare the two, and I don't see why it's impossible to compare the two. This is insane. I don't want to live in a world where our immune systems are so weak that the common cold kills us. I don't want to live in a world where the only answer to any health problem is a shot or a pill. Why aren't they talking about our immune system? Why aren't they talking about vitamin C? Why aren't they talking about zinc? Why aren't they talking about sunlight and diet and exercise? Why aren't they talking about the human immune system? No, they want you to worship them and their vaccines and their medicine. I'm not interested. I don't want to live in that world where the only answer is whatever the powers that be tell us it is. I don't want to walk around treating human beings like they're a disease or they're an infestation. I mean, I own a business. When my customers come in, there's customers I want to shake their hand when they come in. There's customers I want to hug when they come in. I mean, this is about what world you want to live in, not a mask. This isn't about a mask. This is about what world do we live in? What world are we willing to accept? I don't understand why people worship their government. It makes no sense to me. Nothing in the history of everdom, not natural causes, not heart disease, nothing has killed more people than government. War, genocide. I mean, why do people worship government? Government's responsible for more deaths than any other cause ever. I mean, just pick up a history book. Look at what happens to people that worship governments. I mean, this is bizarre. What world are we living in? What world are we headed toward? What world do you want to live in? I mean, I don't want to live in a world where human beings think they can control the evolutionary process. I mean, and this is what's bizarre to me is this isn't even my belief. This is your belief. Your belief is that we've been here for millions and millions and millions of years. But now all of a sudden, there's just these super hyper advanced viruses that are going to wipe us out and kill people. Really? We've been here for millions of years. Our species has been here for millions of years. And you think for some reason that since we have smartphones that we've reached the pinnacle of intelligence and we can control everything now. You think we can control this now? We can't control this virus any more than we can control a hurricane or a tornado or a tsunami. This is nature. This is nature. You can't control it. I mean, we think we're so freaking smart with our geoengineering, and we think we can control weather, and we think we can block out the sun. I mean, maybe it's just me because I don't worship men. I don't worship the people that walk this place. I know how infallible we are. Or I guess that's not the right word. I know how fallible we are. How about that? Get it right. I mean, people worship the government. Does the government get it right every time? I mean, can you just take a step back, just take a deep breath and step back and just ask yourself, does the government get it right all the time? Do these people have your best interest in mind? Does the World Health Organization get it right every time? Does the CDC get it right every time? Does the government get it right every time? Does the government actually care about you and your health? I mean, what world do we want to live in? I don't want to live in a world where we worship the government. I mean, this is bizarre. This is so bizarre. Why do people worship these? They're human beings. They make mistakes. They're not always right. I mean, this is just bizarre. Like, I'm getting way sidetracked. But again, what world do we want to live in? You know, it's direction determines destination. So the further we go in this direction, the further we're going to continue to go in this direction. So that's another reason why I'm resisting this movement, because I don't want to go in this direction where mask is normal. Because then the next step is what? Gloves or suits or whatever. Whatever's the next step. That's what I'm saying. People keep saying that, well, no, there's nothing to worry about. Nothing. No, there's going to be another step in that direction. And that's the thing, is I don't want to go in the next direction. I don't want to go in that direction. I don't know. I don't want to find out what the next step in that direction is. I'll give you a perfect example, because again, what world do you want to live in? Abortion. Okay? It started with, well, whether or not it's okay, yes or no. Well, society says, yes, it's okay. And then it's like, okay, well, when is it life? When is it not murder? And when is it just an abortion? When is it just a fetus? When does it actually take consciousness? When does it have a soul? And some people don't believe that or whatever. But then it's like, okay, well, it's at this point. And then it slowly starts creeping further and further into the pregnancy. Now they're talking about late-term abortions, third trimester, at point of delivery, after delivery. That's not the world I want to live in. I don't want to live in that world where that's okay. I'm sorry. I don't agree with that. What world do you want to live in? And the further we go in that direction, the further we're going to continue to go in that direction. And I'm tired of being looked at like I'm the crazy person for saying that that's not okay. To me, that's not okay. That's a baby. That's a child. That's a human being. And these social justice warriors, which I'm tired of hearing them called social justice warriors, because that's an insult to justice and warriors. We should just call them like they are. They're socialist. They're crybabies. They're wine bags. I'm tired of, we have to go in whatever direction the person with the most sensitive feelings wants us to go in. People's sensitivity to a subject shouldn't draw the entire group that direction. We have 8 billion people on this planet. And the whiniest people, the most sensitive people, the people that can't control themselves emotionally, are controlling the entire herd. Because they whine the loudest, because they complain the loudest. So I'm sorry, I don't want to live in a world where we're aborting babies in the third trimester, at birth, after birth. That's not the world I want to live in, and I don't care what people think about me for it. That's not okay with me. And I'm tired of this, it's my body, my choice. That's bullshit. It's the worst argument ever. It's the thinnest argument ever. Nobody's telling you what you can and can't do with your body. Nobody cares what you do with your body. The government doesn't care. Your family doesn't care. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Throw it off a bridge, tattoo it, pierce it, go to the gym 4 hours a day. Nobody cares what you do with your body. We're talking about what you're doing to somebody else's body. That body inside you doesn't belong to you. It's not property. That is a human being. That's a human life. It doesn't belong to you. It's not a piece of property. So you have a right to feel the way you do, and I have a right to feel the way I do. And that's not the world I want to live in. I mean, these examples are everywhere. You know, now they're trying to normalize pedophilia. There was an op-ed, I believe it was in the Wall Street Journal, normalizing pedophilia, saying that pedophilia is normal. It's just a sexual preference. I don't want to live in that world where it's okay to have sex with children. I don't want to live in that world. Do we not understand how impressionable our children are? I mean, as adults, we know how much sex plays with our emotions, men and women alike. What that does to our attachments and our bonds and our psyche whenever we have sex with somebody, how that changes us. I mean, I'm 38. When I have sex with somebody, it changes how I feel about them. It changes our relationship. It changes me psychologically when I have sex with somebody. And now you want to make it okay for a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old kid to have sex with an adult? It's not okay with me. That's not the world I want to live in, but that's the world. Again, inch by inch by inch. We're working in that direction. And again, direction determines destination. So today it's 16-year-olds. And they might start off with just boys. Well, boys are a little more sexually promiscuous, and so we'll start off with lowering the consent age for boys to 16. Not interested. Not okay with me. That's not the direction I think we should be going. Pedophilia is not okay with me. But that's the direction we're going, is having sex with children and aborting the third trimester. Sorry, I'm not interested. That's not the world I want to live in, where people are walking around treating everybody like germs, we're aborting babies at birth, and we're having sex with kids. That's not the world I want to live in. And people talk about me like I'm the crazy one. I don't want to live in a world where we use lies to manipulate people. Weapons of mass destruction. This is what the government does, okay? So I want people to stop treating me like I'm the crazy person, because I never believed in weapons of mass destruction. But they used that, and people died. Reportedly 1 to 2 million civilians died because of quote unquote weapons of mass destruction, which is an outright lie. I don't want to live in that world. So I guess I'm the minority in this situation, where what I think is considered hate speech, because I don't want children murdered in the womb. I don't want children slept with by adults. I don't want government controlling every aspect of our life. I don't want quote unquote experts telling us that they can control evolution. Sorry. Not the world I want to live in. I don't want to live in a world where we destroy people, their livelihoods, their family, their house, their business. I don't want to live in a world where we destroy people because we disagree with them, because we're different. We're different. We're always going to be different. So no, I don't want to live in a world where we burn people's shit down because we disagree with them. Because we have different life experience, different worldviews, different plans with our life. I don't want to live in a world where we can falsely accuse somebody of something and it destroy their life. I don't want to live in a world where victims have to hide because the justice system fails them. I don't want to live in a world where a justice system favors a class of people. I don't want to live in a justice system that cages people primarily because of the color of their skin. You know, if it wasn't for double standards, there wouldn't be standards at all. And that's all it is. It's just a double standard. Oh, I'm so fed up with it. So what are people like me supposed to do? Just pack our shit up and leave? Where are we supposed to go? Where are the people like me? Where are we supposed to live? Where are we supposed to exist? Because it feels like people like me are in the minority and we're being pushed out, we're being silenced, we're being threatened, we're being people try to humiliate us. People disagree with us. They want to destroy our lives. They want to destroy our businesses. They want to destroy our families. They want to burn our shit down. Because I don't want to kill babies. Because I don't want to treat other human beings like they're germs. Because I don't worship the government. Because experts are wrong all the time. I mean, people literally run around worshiping the government and their experts. If the government was so worthy and so excellent and so superior in so many ways, and they have all the answers, and we're so stupid, how are they $23 trillion in debt? If they got all the answers and they got it all figured out, how are they $23 trillion in debt? I mean, government corruption is the worst pandemic in the world, and nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to address it. Nobody wants to do anything about it. We just want to bow down and cower and acquiesce to everything that they say. These people are power-drunk lunatics. They're drunk on power. They're drunk on control. And I don't want to live in a world where we bow down and cower and worship and it just makes no sense to worship these other human beings. It makes no sense. And I don't want to live in a world where we are teaching children that they're superior or inferior based on the color of their skin. What the hell is the matter with you people? You're teaching children that white people are superior because of their skin and black people are inferior because of the color of their skin. What is the matter with you? You're teaching children this. Why would you give an impressionable child, why would you plant that seed in their head? Why would you plant that seed in their head? You just stop society. It's like we were all on a road trip. We're all on the same bus, going the same direction. We could have driven right past this and never planted this seed in these children's head. But we pulled off the freeway, got everybody off the bus and stopped and said, hey, guess what? There was this thing called slavery, and back then there was this, and there was this, and there was Jim Crow laws, and you're inferior and you're superior. So now all these kids have all this poison in their head, and they don't know what to do with it. Now they're going to grow up with this nonsense. They're going to look at each other different. They didn't 2 months ago, 3 months ago, kids didn't look at each other this way. Kids weren't thinking this way. And we planted the seed of poison in their minds. Why? Why are we so, why? This is sick. This is sick. To me, this is the mental illness. Why are we teaching our children about slavery and race? Like what is happening right now? These kids could have grown up in such a better world. Isn't that what we were supposed to do? Give our kids a better world than what we were given? And hasn't that happened every one generation after next after next? It's gotten better. It's gotten better. Because you can't tell me it's worse now than it was 50 years ago. Do we still have a ways to go? Absolutely. Have we come a long way? Absolutely. Is it perfect? No. But why are we poisoning our children? Why are we telling kids, elementary and middle school kids, that one race is superior to another? That's garbage. That's nonsense. I'm 38. I grew up worshiping black people. Everywhere. Of course, by proximity, I lived in a white community, like most black people live in a black community, like most Hispanics and Latinos live in a Hispanic and Latino community. This makes no sense. I grew up worshiping black people on television, sports, comedy, music, actors. I mean, everywhere. Black people were everywhere when I grew up. Everywhere. This wasn't like, I didn't grow up in the age of segregation, okay? And I understand that wasn't very many generations ago, but I didn't grow up thinking that way. I worship black people. And I'm 38. These kids are 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. And we're poisoning their minds and telling them that one race is superior to another. That's stupid. That's ignorance to me. I don't want to live in a world where we're telling children that one race is superior to another. That's stupid. And actually, that's not even the worst part about it. The worst part about it is that we're telling one race that it's inferior to another. That's shameful to me. That's disgusting to me. That's not the world I want to live in, where we're telling children, hey, by the way, as long as you live, you're going to be inferior to this other group of people because of their color of their skin, which is somehow not racist for whatever reason I still can't get my head around, because apparently I'm too stupid to get it. But it's not okay to talk about anybody based on or generalize people based on the color of their skin unless they're white. We can only generalize people if they're white. We can only talk about whiteness. Like, I don't want to live in that society where it's okay to talk about one group of people because of the color of their skin, but not anybody else. Like, what planet is that? I'm sorry, I don't want to be a part of that. That's not the world I want to live in. I'm sorry, I don't want to poison children. I'm sorry. This is insanity to me. This is insanity to me. I don't want to live in this world. I don't belong in this world. I don't know. I don't know. What world do you want to live in? What world do you want to live in? Direction determines destination. I don't belong here. It's just that simple. I don't belong here. And I never will. I never will belong here. And I don't know where this leads. I don't know what's going to happen. My thoughts, my ideas, my feelings, my emotions, my actions, my behaviors, my words. I don't know where this is going. But I know society is headed in a direction I don't want to be a part of. I mean, I already don't go anywhere or don't do anything. I can't connect to people. I can't talk to people. And most of that's personal choice. I don't want this isn't woe is me, poor me. I'm not saying that at all. But I can't even have a conversation with people out here. They're so far gone in this new world, this new society, this new normal. They're so invested in it in such a short period of time. They're beyond having a conversation with. So, I mean, I guess I'll just stay away. This is not the society, this is not the world I want to live in. Pedophilia isn't normal to me. Aborting babies in the millions isn't normal to me. Teaching children that they're inferior to one another isn't normal to me. Wearing masks, treating each other like germs isn't normal to me. Worshiping human beings and worshiping experts and bowing down and acquiescing to anything and everything that comes on the television isn't normal to me. I don't want to live in a world where the person that cries the loudest gets their way. Whether it's true, whether it's real, whether it's matter of fact, whether it's concrete, whether it's in the best interest of the group or not. I'm sorry, that's just not the society I want to live in. Like I said, I guess I don't belong. I guess I just don't belong. I mean, I just don't understand why people can't zoom out and look at how often is the government wrong. What has the government ever done that has not been? I mean, every time the government touches something, it disintegrates, and it doesn't take very long usually. The governments aren't very good at anything. The only thing they're really good at is propaganda. They're really good at arguing with each other. They're really good at coming up with arguments and taking a stance or a position against their political opponent. That's really it. They're good at coming up with arguments. Most of them are attorneys and lawyers, so they're really good at coming up with arguments. They're not good at problem solving. They're not good fiscally. They're not good with money. They're not good with handling situations. They're not good at solving problems. They're not good at disseminating good information. They're not good at protecting people. They're not good at making sure there's quality food and water available. They're not very good at making sure that there's good science available. They're not good at managing money. They're not good at managing health care. They're not good at managing Social Security. They're not good at, taking care of money to where our roads and our streets are taken care of. I mean, we have independent investors from other countries coming in, putting in toll roads in our country. We're broke. We're broke. We're more than broke. We're beyond broke. So we have investors from other countries investing billions of dollars in our infrastructure and making toll roads here. That's how broke we are. That other countries and businessmen from other countries are profiting off of us because we're so broke we can't even build roads and highways that we allegedly pay taxes for. So other countries and other companies from other countries come in, build toll roads, and charge us to drive on our own roads. That's how broke we are. But you guys want to acquiesce to the government every time they change directions and ask you to be outraged about something. They've demonetized our dollar down to nothing. I'm getting sidetracked. What world do you want to live in? Because this isn't it for me. This isn't it for me. I don't want to treat people like germs. I don't want to worship the government. I don't want to listen to quote unquote experts. I mean, we can't predict the weather. We can't predict tomorrow. Nobody can predict the future. And they have these models. We're using these models. It's I mean, the government and these experts are quote unquote telling us what's medicine. The government is telling you what is and isn't medicine. This whole hydroxychloroquine thing. They raged against it. And it turns out it saves people's lives. So people died because of that. Do you understand that? People died because a group of people hate the president so much that anything he says they will rage against. They rage against anything he says. And that cost people their lives. People died because of that. There's treatment options for this. There are treatment options for this. And people are running around like a chicken with their head cut off, wearing a mask, because they think everybody's just going to drop dead, or that we're going to save every single person, every single life. Well, we have medicine for this. We have a solution for this. We have a problem, and we have a solution. But nobody wants to talk about the solution. I don't want to live in that world. I mean, this is bizarre to me. I guess I just don't belong here. That's all there is to it. So this isn't a world problem. This is a me problem. So I had to figure out what I'm going to do about it. What do I do? What do people like me do? Just sell everything, pack it up and move, or try to convince everybody that wearing a mask is at very minimum evolutionary evolutionarily, is that even a word? Irresponsible. Evolutionary. Evolutionarily. Man, I'm stupid. See, this is why people shouldn't listen to me, is I'm a dumbass. What world do you want to live in? What direction are we going? I mean, where we are, for instance, in the United States, we're guiding this country towards socialism and communism. It's the direction we're going. Okay, we're not headed closer to democracy. We're not headed closer to freedom. We're headed closer. We're headed toward socialism. And again, direction determines destination. We're headed towards socialism. We're headed towards communism. Everybody wants universal health care and all these things. Everybody wants the government to tell us what's good for us, when it's okay to do it, how it's okay to do it, and they want the government involved. They want everything to be handled and managed by the government. They want everything to be divided up by the government. And to me, again, that's irresponsible. There's never been a responsible government ever. Show me a responsible government. Throughout history, show me one. So I don't know what people like me do. Where are we supposed to go? What are we supposed to do? Because we don't belong in this society. And this is not the direction I want to go. I'm in a vehicle. I'm held hostage in it right now. I'm held hostage in this vehicle that I don't want to be in a direction I don't want to go. And I guess I'm the only one. Because I don't accept this new normal where it's okay to have sex with kids. Where wearing a mask is mandatory and having sex with children is optional. Sorry, that's upside down to me. That's inside out, upside down, backwards. And then not to mention on top of that, it's considered hate speech to say so. So I'm not even allowed to have that opinion because I'm giving hate speech towards a sexual preference now. Instead of what was a crime, was criminal, to have sex with a child, is now mainstream and normal. So when I say something against it, it's hate speech. So people are basically saying that people that think like me are people that think like me are basically have a mental illness. People say I have a mental illness basically because I feel the way I feel and I think the way I think, that this is a mental illness now. So now I have the mental illness. So since I'm not attracted to children, I have a mental illness. Since I think it's not appropriate to murder a child in the third trimester or at birth or after birth, or that I think that's murder, that I have a mental illness. Because I believe in a higher power, I have a mental illness. Because I think human beings are meant to love each other and touch each other and interact with each other and hug and kiss and smile, that I have a mental illness. But I guess this is why I'm alone. I will be alone forever. I will be alone forever. Because I refuse to subscribe to this sort of society. I'm not interested in taking part in this. people actually believe the government cares about them and cares about their health and cares about their well-being, they do not give a damn about you. I don't know. I'm going to get off here. But yeah, that's how my morning started. And I don't belong here. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry I feel the way I do. I'm sorry I have a mental illness. I'm sorry this is not okay with me. So I guess everybody's just going to have to forgive me for being ignorant and stupid and having a mental illness. Because I don't belong here. So I'm sorry. So everybody can just pray for me, or I guess, or hope science takes me out, or throw me in jail and lock me up, or whatever, I guess, because I just don't believe and I don't want to play along with this script. I don't know.